Good morning, everyone. Welcome to First Things First. Jenna Wild, smile. We're starting the show. First things first, here we go. Nick Wright, Brandon Marshall. Kevin Wilds is low caffeinated today, and at last count, we are 2 days away.
Like Wild's mother. Smile, young man. Sit up straight.
I have to. I had a whole bit, Nick, about how your Chiefs were starting in 2 days, but forget it. I had to discipline my panel here. And now that we are all smiling, caffeinated, and ready to go, we can either start over or go right into our top story, which we will do. Clippers trying to rebound after losing Game 2 to the Nuggets. I'm glad I planned those opens out. It didn't look great when they were trailing by 9 early in the fourth quarter. I'm talking about the Clippers. But what did we say all week? We said they needed both Paul George and Kawhi Leonard to show up, and that they did. Clippers went on a game-changing 14-4 run after that. PG finished with a game-high 32. Kawhi Leonard went 23, 13, and 6. And the LA Clippers hang on to take a 2-1 series lead. But, Nick, let's focus on that deciding fourth quarter. What did it tell you about this series?
Yeah, listen, this is a brutal loss for the Nuggets. We talked about it yesterday. The Clippers had lost 11 games in a row when trailing by more than 4 entering the fourth. That was the scenario yesterday. The Nuggets extended that to a 7-point lead in the fourth, and then they got super tight late. And I know you mentioned Kawhi's overall stat line, but this is the second straight game where Kawhi was brutal in the fourth quarter. After going 0 in Game 2, he was 1 of 7 in Game 3. You've got to take advantage of that if you're Denver. And Jokic was good throughout, but quieted down late. Jamal Murray was bad throughout and was passive late, and all of a sudden, good God, that's Jerry Grant's music. And he's taking your 3 biggest shots of the game in succession in a row. And I understand that's how the Nuggets offense has been working. It's kind of egalitarian. If you're open, shoot. And Jerry Grant was not scared of the moment. Jeremy Grant, pardon me, Jerry's his brother. It was not scared of the moment, but he missed open shots, and the Clippers didn't. And so I feel this is an incredibly even match series. I think we have seen that throughout, but a game like last night is a game the Nuggets need to win. And Brandon, I want to give you credit, because when the entire world was elevating Jamal Murray to super duper star status, you pointed out, listen, the 4 best games of this guy's career have come in the last week. Let's see if he can extend it. Since then, 5 games, he's had 1 good one. He's averaging 17 points on 36% from the field. If Jamal Murray, Brandon, was just decent last night instead of bad, the Nuggets are up 2-1 despite how great Paul George was. But Jamal Murray wasn't there, and the Nuggets, to me, squandered a very winnable game.
Hey, you're such a great teammate. Thanks for showing me that love and validating what I said. But this fourth quarter showed me that if Jamal Murray was consistent, that this wouldn't be a series. The first game of the series, Jamal Murray, he didn't have his legs. We knew that coming in. Yep. The second game, he did a good job. Yesterday, the last game, this guy couldn't find the basket. He was 1 for 5 in the fourth quarter, like you alluded to earlier. He was 0 for 3 at the 3-point line. If Jamal Murray was consistent, take a look at this graphic. If he was consistent, this wouldn't even be a series, because they also showed throughout the entire game that they are the better team. The Clippers fought hard for every bucket, for every stop. They earned that last night. I respect their fight, but they're just not the better team. When you look at Jokic, I really thought Jokic did a phenomenal job of getting everyone involved. He wasn't consistent through the 4 quarters, but he showed us that there is value in the big man. Not the big man just shooting threes, but the big man also in the post. So Jokic did a phenomenal job. Now Murray and Grant need to step up and do theirs.
You know, it's the first day of school today for the Wilds children. And I tried to get them to bed early, and they couldn't. They came in, they were like, Dad, my room is too bright. I'm like, what is it? And I turned off all the lights, but then I looked outside and I saw the big playoff P Batman signal right over our house. I said, oh, sorry, kids, it's going to be a long night. Playoff P is here. The light was illuminating the whole neighborhood because playoff P is back. And you know what, Nick? When I knew that the Clippers were going to win this game, it's after Doc called that timeout. They were down 8, boom, down 2. Playoff P grabs a rebound, pushes the ball up court, gets a little pick, hits a 3. Then they were only down 1. I was like, oh, they're going to win. This is real playoff P. He played 40 minutes. I know you love a lot of high minutes totals for your star. Had 32 points, 12 for 18, 5 for 7 from threes, 4 rebounds. I know you're going to be like, hey, this is what he's supposed to do. Like, yeah, I agree. But this is the super confident playoff P. This is who we really want to see. This is not just star. This is like superstar playoff Paul George. Good. So, Nick, that's what I want to see more of. If that keeps going, I don't think your Nuggets have a chance, buddy.
Well, they're not my Nuggets. I just picked them to beat the Clippers. I have no particular affinity for them. I do like Jeremy Grant. He's a Syracuse guy. Okay, right. So I'm renting them, like you. I'm taking them for a test drive, Wilds, like you did with the Blazers. I just actually have the courage of my convictions to make the pick. Listen, Paul George was fantastic, and I know Kawhi is, sorry, Wilds, I'm never going to let you live that down. I know Kawhi is going to get all the headlines because he had a fingertip block. But Paul George was the best defensive player and offensive player for the Clippers last night. He was exceptional. You mentioned Doc Rivers calling a timeout. I want to give a little advice to Mike Malone moving forward in the series. You need to learn from Doc Rivers in this. Doc Rivers works the refs from the moment the game is tipped off to after the game ends in his press conferences. And because of that, the Clippers tend to get, and this is one of the reasons to have a veteran established coach, a favorable whistle. There is no reason for the Nuggets to take 10 free throws last night and the Clippers to take 26. There is no reason at all for the fouls that were called, committed against Jokic. They were all 17 feet from the basket with guys touching him. He was getting hammered down low and never got to the line. Mike Malone, if he should have gotten a technical early in this game, it would have been worth it. And in game 4, that's what I would advise an early technical.
I can't, Nick.
Because the Nuggets.
Nick, I can't let you do this. I can't let you do this to a phenomenal coach. He's done probably the best job in the bubble of getting his team prepared to play. He's a phenomenal coach, and he's definitely got his guys in position. It's not his fault that these guys went 5 for 14, 5 for 17, Grant and Murray. If these guys hit half of their shots, it's not a series. Mike Malone need to do exactly what he's done to get him to this point. Don't change it up.
So, Nick, I've now listened to all of you go back and forth. Was last night's game more about what the Clippers did in the fourth quarter or what the Denver Nuggets couldn't do because of Jamal Murray? Which one was it, Nick?
Well, no. I mean, listen, the Clippers imposed their will defensively late, but the Nuggets still got shots they like. I mean, Jeremy Grant, those are shots that in round 1 he was making. He just didn't make last night. The Clippers needed to lock down defense.